Hey there guys, this is Donna Singleton. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here again to share a how-to video. Now, this one is how to adhere stamp labels the easy way, and this is regarding cling stamp sets. So when you get your stamp set from Stampin' Up!, it comes like this. You have this rubber sheet with a paper backing of the stamps, and then you have the labels right here, okay? So you can see through this side, because this is the backing side, one of the backing. This is what they're mounted on, right? But they peel off here, okay? Now, there are different ways to mount your stamps, and there are different ideas as far concerning whether to keep the outside stamps part, once you punch these out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this as I'm talking. But there's a different thought set on keeping this part. Some people just like to get rid of it because they don't want to keep any kind of anything extra. But I'm going to show you the reason why I keep it. Because I just like it because it does tell me what stamp is possibly missing when I go to clean up. Now, I take off this backing. And let me stay lower on the camera because my camera is on autofocus. So when I get closer, it gets fuzzy and out of focus. So let me try to stay lower. So I peel all this paper off, right? That's just the backing. And so this kind of is it's just this gray foam, and it kind of sticks. It's temporary, but it kind of just adheres. It doesn't stick. Well, it doesn't adhere either, but it just kind of just because it's that foam, it kind of sticks to the back of the case. So I like it because, let's say you're putting your stamps back, right? Now these don't have labels on them yet. So let's say I put that one back. I finished stamping and I put a couple of these back, right? And I think, okay, I'm going to clean up now. And I go like this. I close up my case. I can, just from the back, see what's missing, right? Oh my goodness. Where are all those stamps? So I like keeping that, what I call like the stamp frame, because I put the stamps back in there and then I'll know what's missing and what's not missing. All right, so on to putting your labels. Now, there are different ways of putting your labels on. Let me put this aside. The top of that tends to glare with the lights above. Now, I like to have a piece of dark cardstock, doesn't matter what color, just a piece of dark cardstock. Now, you take these labels. Now, one way to adhere your labels is by, like I'll do this one, right, is taking off the backing, leaving it on this sheet. All right, and let me find, here's the stamp that goes with it, all right? And then you peel off the back of the stamp, and I punched this out of the frame. And then you have to kind of lay this down and try to get it perfect by laying it down. And I always seem to have a hard time doing it because it's white on white. I mean, that one didn't come out that bad. It's a little overlapped at the top. But that is the way that Stampin' Up!, I believe, tells us to do it. Now, I found something different, a different way to do it. And I get a piece of dark paper out, and I get my block out. All right, now let's do this one here. All right, so you find the stamp, you take the whole thing off of the paper. All right, sticky side and the backing side. Now see how one side has the backing to it? That is the side that's going to stick to the gray foam on your stamp, because it's a lot stronger than this. Both sides cling, all right? See, let me bend that out for a sec. So that's sticky and that's sticky, right? But this backing is stickier. So that's the side that is going to go onto your foam. So what I like to do is I take it like this, and I just peel back a couple of the slits from that. Let me see if I can get it closer so you can see. You hold it right there for a second. See if it focuses. There. So you can see that I just folded back a little bit just to get from the split mark, right? And then I lay that down on a piece of paper, And this part you don't need the backing. You could do it over here. It doesn't need the backing, but I just mount it on my stamp, on my block, all right, your acrylic block. And then I peel this backing off, just like that, and that's just throwaway. Now my label is on my block the way it's supposed to be, all right? Then I take my stamp. This is where the dark paper comes in handy because it's much easier to see rather than doing it on white. I find it much easier to see when I do it on a dark piece because you're working with a kind of a clear, it's almost foggy clearness, right? But doing it over here, it's very hard to see the edge of it. So I do it on a dark piece and I just hover over the top, and I'm standing up for this, so my voice may sound closer to the camera, and I hover till I get it to the right spot, and then I go straight down, just like that. And I've lined up the edge of the foam stamp with my label, and it's perfectly set. Look at that, no edges, everything's perfect. Now, when I like to peel it off right away, this is just a hint, and I just give it a little bit of a press down, and then if I'm going to use it right away, I go back on the stamp. I found that if I start right away and leave it on my block, then when I go to take it off, it doesn't come off as easily. So I like to put it on and peel it off for the first time, and then you can put it back on again. Now I'm going to show you that again. Let's do one that has a little shape to it. So I start with this, take the backing off that. Then I find the label that goes onto it. I peel the whole thing off, right? So one side is sticky, and then we have the backing on the other. And we know the sticky side, this side, not the side that has this backing, this side is going to go on my stamp. I like to start it, just makes it easy to pull it off my block. I said stamp, I meant block. All right, so I like to turn it up a little bit, turn those little edges up. You don't have to, it's easier to get it off the label afterwards. So I push it down on my block, and now this is the stickier side, right? Because there's two sticky sides. One is a less sticky because it's got to come on and off your block. So now it's on my block. I line this up, and I want to look straight down on it, and I line up the edge of the label with the edge of the stamp. Press down, and like I said, I take it off right away. Make sure to press in the middle, just make sure it's on there, and then I could put it back on and it peels off fine. All right, I shall do it one more time because I don't need to show. Well, let's do a word. Let's do some words. We did that the old way. All right, so this one says thank you, so I'm going to do this. I just find this easier. I take this whole thing. Now you could just take this, right, and peel off the backing and lay it right. Sometimes all right, I'm going to show you this way too. Sometimes I do it this way. I take it. I know that it's going to go on the, make sure that thank you runs this way. And this is a way for doing something narrow like this, but I like the block technique better. So you could do this and just kind of make sure you line it up. Oops. Let me get it closer to me. Hang on a sec. I find this a little bit more difficult. And then you line it up. All right, and it's a little off, and that's why I like the block method. So let me show you once more. Let's do these words. It says it's been too long. All right, so I take the backing off, and this is why I think it's so much. That was a pain, and now it's kind of like a little bubble in there. It's not going to matter once I stick it on my block, it flattens out, but it's just not as good. So I take this, right? It's sticky on one side. Now, if you don't want to pull up the edges, you don't have to. You just put it down and put it on. Then you kind of have to use your nail and get up under there to pull it off. That's why I do it ahead of time, because it's a little easier. Now, we want to make sure since this is very similar, the shape, it does drop down here, so I know that's where the G drops down. So just make sure you're putting it on the right way, right? Place it down on the dark piece of paper. Stand up if you have to. I like to stand up so I can look straight down on it. Line it up. drop it down, right? And then I peel it off right away. You know, I might put a little bit of pressure. You don't want to touch it too much because you don't want to wear off that adhesive. And there you go. So that is the easy way, right, of putting on your labels. Now let me show you something. Now I'm going to put my stamps away. Now I know I didn't do all of them, so I'm just going to put away what we did. All right, and I'll show you. Well, this one I didn't do, but I'm going to put it away. I'm going to line it up and figure out which direction it goes in. Oh, that's why it didn't fit in. I had it upside down because I don't have the paper off of it yet. Oh my goodness, which way? Let's see. Okay. Let's put this one goes over here. This one goes here. So that's it. I've cleaned up all my stamps, right? I think. Now let's say I didn't have that frame, right? Let's say I didn't have that frame around it. Now when I close this up, I can see what I'm missing. Oh, I have a stamp missing before I clean up. Something's missing. The little hello is. So see that? That's just my way of kind of inventorying my stamps when I'm done with them, right? Of course, these would have their labels on them, but I haven't done them yet. But that's why I like leaving the backing, this frame on, right? And you could turn it the other way, and these would be upright like that if you wanted to turn this upside down. But I like it this way because I can see what the stamps are. And sometimes if you put this way, I'll show you. Not that I want to make this video very long, but let's say I did it this way. All right, those don't have stamps on it yet. I mean labels. But let's say I did it this way. All right, which is fine because you could see your stamps when you open it up. But there's a reason why I don't like this way, and I'll show you. And maybe you'll see. Now these don't have the labels on. A couple of them don't have the labels, all right? But let's say I close this, I squeeze it shut, right? So I can look back here and I can still see if something's missing, but when I open it, it's stuck over here. Sometimes these stick here and when you close it up again, it's not going to stay in place. I just think this foam is kind of, it's not sticky, it's just clingy. It clings to the plastic case. So I just think that's a much better way of storing your stamps. So that is that. So you got two tips today. You got the tip about how to add your labels to your cling mounts in an easier way. What I found easy, you try the different ways and see what you think, because not every way is perfect. All right, you have to find what works for you. I tend to think that putting my stamp down onto the sticky label like this, I find that a little harder to do. Maybe it's just my old age eyes. I'm not sure, but I much rather do it putting it on a block like I showed you, and then leaving that frame in there so I can see if anything is missing. So that is how to adhere your stamp labels the easy way. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching this on, let me just put something under that so that it doesn't glare. If you're watching this on YouTube, on my Donna's Creative Space channel, please go ahead and hit subscribe so that you get to see all the videos. Hit the notification bell. That way it'll notify you when I put out a new video. But I would like you to subscribe, and if you're not on my email list, you should be. Go to donnascreativespace.com. That's my blog. In the top right corner, there's a button that you can click on. It says Newsletter Sign Up. Go ahead and get on my email list. Okay, guys, that's it for this quick video on adhering your stamp labels. I hope it helps you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.